Hello and welcome to the Chatter Cave podcast, where we break down and review movies, TV when we get the time, maybe video games if we've done a game and we want to do a review on it, and on occasion talk random crap. I'm your host, Ranking Thomas Hughes. I'm joined by the lovely Hayden, aka Licklet, and today we're sticking with old school kids based programming, because obviously last week and the week before we covered Ben 10, and it's obviously a sequel. They're obviously made for TV movies. So now we're going further back than the 2000s to the 90s to look at a straight-to-cinema movie.
Your childhood.
Mighty Morphin, Power Rangers, because it's Morphin time. No batteries. It didn't even pop out properly, it was stuck halfway. Great start. Yes, look at Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie, referred to as. Released in 1995. It's an oldie. It was released between the second and third series, not being related to anything apart from just having the characters.
Yeah,
it's its own universe.
It's like Race Against Time.
Yep, its own universe where nothing gets referenced. Obviously, the Race Against Time gets that one Ultimate Alien episode, which I've seen.
Yes.
But other than that, it's not acknowledged. Just like this is not acknowledged anywhere in the franchise, apart from the movie. My Morphin, which sits behind me in a lovely pink case. The other pair of coins. Well, I say other pair of coins. I'm missing 3. I'm missing the White Ranger, both his versions, and the Green Ranger. Those are the base coins.
Green Ranger?
What do you think I'm wearing on my shirt?
I don't know.
White Ranger. Sorry, camera's on the wrong side. White Ranger, Green Ranger. Green Ranger's weapon, White Ranger's weapon.
I thought it was the bad guy.
Yes, but he also is a good guy eventually. After I'm not even going to bother explaining to her. She's dumb. No point in me even trying to explain anything to her. But yeah, this is one that I remember a lot was watching as a kid. I used to have it on VHS. So old this film is. I used to have it on VHS. Didn't get it on DVD till I brought it from Woolworths when it was shutting down for 50p.
Woolworths.
When it was shutting down, they were like, "Hey, here's every DVD on like 50 pence a DVD." We're not going to give you the case though. We're just going to put it in a little, like a cardboard sleeve. They're not the see-through sleeves you can get. Like that, but it's cardboard with it written on it, what it's in it, and 50p. I got both of them this way. I don't know where they are though. I kind of misplaced them. That's why I went digital with these, because I couldn't find them. But yeah, obviously, last year we covered Power Rangers, or Saban's Power Rangers, the up-to-date, modernised take on the franchise with characters named after the original character counterparts, whereas this obviously is after characters have left the show, which is why it's Rocky, Aisha, and Adam rather than Jason, Zach, and Trini. So this is obviously after. So obviously we covered that last year, and we spoke fondly of it and was very upset the fact that it's not going to get a sequel and that the universe isn't going to expand it, even though at the end they name dropped Tommy Oliver. Tommy Oliver, the main character of this movie and the next movie. And obviously I thought we'd go back a bit further and actually take a look at the OG movies. And don't get me wrong, I know there's errors in it, like with Ben 10. I know I'm not googly eyes nostalgia goggling this. I know there's mistakes in this in terms of special effects. Practical effects are actually pretty good. They're pretty well done, but it's when it goes digital that's where this movie suffers heavily. Does it have a paper thin plot? Yes. What episode of Power Rangers doesn't? I mean, it's literally just an extended version of an episode, basically, but with a bit more budget in it for the fact that they can go and add these special effects in, because usually they wouldn't really bother. It'd all be done practically. And when I say practically, I mean they just use the footage from the Japanese version, Super Sentai, and just fucking throw that in there instead. So they didn't really have to pay that much for it. Whereas this, it's the case of, okay, none of this is from Super Sentai. This is its own, basically our own like footage.
Yeah, hence why I think the villain feels very American.
Oh yeah, I mean he's very
Yeah.
over the top, but that's
Yes.
what works for the film because it's this cheesy '90s movie.
Yeah,
and
he was quite fun.
he is a standout. Because I mean, don't get me wrong, obviously they show you straight away Rita and Zed, the two OG villains, especially Rita. She's the OG one. Zed obviously came later on. Obviously you got Goldar, and then I can't remember his name. I did read it online. The pig guy that is only in this movie, and that's it. Obviously you got the ones from the show plus that guy appearing straight away and bringing back Ivan Ooze, who's obviously this movie's big protagonist, this antagonist, sorry.
Yeah.
And then getting betrayed instantly by him and him taking over as the big villain. And obviously there's more personality in him than them. Yes, he's got this evil side like they do, but he definitely reminds me of like OG Rita, like this goofy character, like always like doing stupid shit, like saying stuff that you'd be like, what? And obviously he's definitely like the standout of this movie, because as I say, he's got this humorous personality while also being evil. Like, I mean, there's a whole sequence where he's kidnapped all the parents of Angel Grove, and he's just sat there with his little chalice, chilling in this junkyard, and he's like, "Oh, you know what? I'm bored. You basically fatso, do some dancing for me." And the guy starts dancing. He's like, "Oh, do the swim," and he's like, you got the music going, and then you got Goldar like ballet, do 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 do, and they're all like really getting into it. And he's got this like humorous side to him, and then instantly that can change with obviously when the Zengar, was it something along that line? The bird warriors turn up, and obviously he instantly kills them. So he's like got this split personality. Like he's got this over the top '90s villain side to him, but he's also got this villain side to him.
It reminds me of like Freddy Krueger, kind of.
Yeah,
like that campy villain.
Definitely. I mean, even with that scene, obviously when he's in the really bad oozing face, that definitely gave me Krueger vibes because I mean he did that before as well. Like, not obviously ooze, but like his face looking like that. It definitely gave me vibes of Krueger, which is funny since obviously there is actually a fan-made comic where he fights the Power Rangers.
Of course.
Which I showed you before.
Yeah, that's
the one I found online.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely like something. It's 90s cheese at its max. And for me that works. Yes, not, oh my god, I need to watch this movie so many times. Like I haven't seen this movie for years. And then going back to it, I'm sitting there going, okay, it's still pretty good. It's still entertaining. It's not, this like the reboot. It's not for me like this. Actually, a pretty great film, but it is still above average. Obviously, the plot heavily focuses on the Rangers getting their ninja powers, which then in the show it gets a completely different way. Like it gets wiped clean and they have to earn the ninja powers again. But the movie's versions of the suits, the ninja suits, look so much better because there's actually a budget in ninja suits, whereas the TV show makes them look more like the KKK members.
Oh,
they generally look like the Ku Klux Klan but coloured.
That's awful. No,
like the hoods aren't like pointy up, but like it just for some reason. No, you just look at it and you go, "Why does it look like?" Especially the White Ranger.
Yeah,
you look at it and go, "Why the fuck do they look like the members of the Klan?"
Whereas the ones that actually look like ninjas.
I mean, they've got the bands on the head. Obviously, they've got the face coverings. But I think they in this show they cover too much of the face. I think that's what makes it look bad. But then again, they wouldn't have had probably as much budget. But couldn't they just use the same suits?
Yeah, you would have thought they'd have the...
Unless they weren't allowed to.
Because obviously, I guess in the footage they use for the fighting from Super Sentai.
Yes.
And they wouldn't have had these suits because this is created for the movie. That'll be one of them.
More likely. So it's upsetting that they do that because, I mean, the suits look pretty good. I do like the fact that it's not wearing spandex either when they're in suits. It's like armour. A bit like the new movie. Obviously, yes, the suits are a bit more proper armour in that way. These more clearly plastic. But I like the fact that they haven't stuck with the spandex. It makes it look a bit different. I mean, it then heavily works for when they got these other random powers. Like, I've got headlights for eyes. Oh, I can have a visor that helps me do extra, like heat vision sensors. Like, it helps for stuff like that, having these non-show-wise suits. Whereas if you look at the next film, which we'll look at next week, they are exactly like the shows because it's part of the actual show. Whereas this isn't. This isn't canon. This is its own little universe.
I think the armor designs, the redesign of the armors, shows that it's a different universe at least. Everything looks different, like the control area.
I mean, the Zordon and all that look so different. Zordon Alpha and obviously the base. It looks like there's actually a bit of a budget into it rather than TV budget. It looks like they've actually gone, you know, let's put a bit of money into this and make it look a bit more fancier. The command center, that's the word I'm after. It's not just make it this like really blue looking place. It's actually make it bright. It's put these like random machines everywhere to make it look like
crystals. And
wow. Like there's actually like a budget into a lot of this. It's just they didn't put enough budget into that special effects. I think they put the budget into special effects. Then I think I'd probably go higher in my score. But because they didn't, and it does, a lot of the shots of the special effects do look bad. The ooze looks terrible. The machines, I call something weird.
The weird bug.
He calls them. He has like an actual name for them, but it's like a weird name, like beings or something like that. It's like a weird like name, but like a lot of their shots, specifically the big tall one, he looks terrible at times as CG. The little one, the scorpion one, some shots look okay. Like not every shot looks okay, but there's a couple of shots where you go
incredibly zoomed out where you don't see anything.
The zoomed out shot when it's like when it's attacking in the daylight, when it's really zoomed out, that didn't look too bad. But then when it zooms in, it does look really bad, like 90s level of bad.
I think like you said when we were watching it, the main problem with it was the chrome.
Yes, the chrome effect makes it look a bit.
And I think as well the fact that it doesn't reflect the outside world as chrome should do. It makes it look like it's just been posted on. It looks like CGI. It looks fake.
Yeah, the chrome effect is a big thing that does make it look quite bad, and it doesn't help them when they add Ivanhoe into the mix of that Ant one when he has his face, and it just looks like even worse.
Yes, that's awful.
That is like, ugh. But as I say, it still is a really fun movie. I mean, you got the start where it's basically frustrating to the like explaining. Obviously, you get the narrator explaining, which obviously the warrior she explains everything to him. It's like, oh, this and that, Zordon. Oh, then it comes with Power Rangers, and it cuts to them like doing some sporty stuff, like jumping out of planes, showcasing like their personalities. A Bulk and Skull, like how they're basically scaredy cats, but they're also big bullies. And they're showing out obviously them doing other sports like rollerblading, jumping around, and it just shows obviously each character's obviously who they are. Obviously, even at the start you said, "Oh, here you go," announcing all the characters that are landing. Oh, here comes Rocky. Oh, he lands. Here comes Aisha, Billy. You know, it does that, and right then, obviously you got Zach, and it's like, oh, Zach, Adam, sorry, Zach's the original one, and he's like, oh, where is one missing? Oh, there's Tommy. It's nice if he's the main character who's got to land last. Obviously. Heck, we've even given him his own little surfboard-looking thing, or like a snowboard more than anything. Like it's just like, oh, we give this to make him stand out even more compared to the rest of them.
Because it's the big budget guy,
the main character.
He's ironic because normally the red one's the main one.
Yeah, but he literally, as soon as he came into the show, he outshined him. Which is obviously why when they recast the Red Ranger, they basically pushed him heavily a lot more. Because the fans just love the character. Which is why he's been back multiple times now. Like, I mean, he was in it till Turbo. Then he went out, for how many series, come back for the anniversary Wild Force episode. Then come back fully for Dino Thunder. And then came back for Super Mega Force and Super Ninja Steel. He's the one who's come back the most out of all of them because he's the most popular. But yeah, obviously they introduce all the characters. Then they introduce you back to the villains. So literally, this is a kind of a film where if you haven't seen it, they've got to try and introduce you to everyone.
Yeah.
So if you're not someone who's, knowledgeable of the franchise, you doesn't know what the fuck's going on, you need to know. You can't just be thrust into it like, okay, what's going on? Which is why they did the narration at the start, explaining stuff, and then obviously explaining each character, bringing in your villains, and obviously even getting rid of those villains and bringing in a brand new villain, so you don't really have to know much about the old villains. So you got this new villain. Yes, he's using like 1 minion. That's actually from the show, but that's okay. He just knows a big guy with big wings. And obviously then it starts going into the plot of, powers are gone. Needs to get new powers. Got new powers. Fighting the bad guy. Bish bash bosh. We've won the day. It's simple.
Meteor.
Simple, really. And obviously they do pretty well. Obviously, like the normal show, it eases you into them morphing. So the first time you get to see them fight, it's them just fighting themselves, battling obviously Ivan Oozy's children, as he likes to call them. He's very ugly kids, and then they overpower them, and it's the case of okay, then it's morphing time, and then it's just the shot. Obviously, in the actual show, it's like obviously it cuts to the screen, you see the morph, and in the middle of the morph, it's the faces. They're going Mastodon, stuff like that. But this is one that's like, okay, we need to actually do something here. So it's obviously like the faces just crack me up because there's like no real emotion. I'm just like, Triceratop! It's like there's no emotion in their face as they're morphing. But I do like the way they have a morph in this. So yeah, obviously the coin flies forward and then the next minute it cuts out and you see them in the suits doing like some poses. And then obviously they did the battle in the suits, lose the powers, have to do a battle again without the suits. And it shows them that the suits are their biggest power, which is one of them points out as well. It's like, do you know the funny thing about Morphin? You miss it in the sense when it's not here, you completely miss having it. So it utilizes a lot of them fighting without the suits on this one does realistically, because they only really fight in suits at the start. Everything else is them either fighting without normal clothes or the ninja obviously gear on, and then even at the end when they get the suits back, it's just that when they're in the Zords. So it's like, okay, you're just doing that because showing them inside the Zords. You can't really show them normally looking in the Zords. You look a bit weird. So, I mean, there's a bit of inside the Zords practically looks good. Outside the Zords practically not so much.
Oh yeah, the Zords look awful.
They look pretty
Yeah.
The only ones that actually resemble the animals, obviously the frog definitely looks like a frog.
Yeah.
The wolf and probably the bear. All the others look obviously not so much. I mean, the ape looks a bit shit. The crane and the falcon are just designed.
Looks like a bird.
Yeah. I mean, the falcon's mainly just designed just for his missiles. So that's the main focus with that. Is like, yeah, just make him look like a bird. Here you go, missiles. But still, the action is pretty good in it. The opening fight's pretty decent. The fights, obviously, with the birds are pretty good. The Jurassic Park scene, as the guy refers to, it's like, welcome to Jurassic Park. That's pretty good because it's practical. It's not really a fight, it's just them running away and for some reason trying to punch a fossil. But it's practical, so I like that. And then the fight with, obviously, I don't know what they're called, but they're basically the ones with the blades on their arms.
The weird croc ones.
Yeah, the weird crocodile-looking creatures. That was pretty cool. And obviously, the big fight of the movie is the Zord fight, which doesn't help that, as you say, the CGI is bad.
Yeah, and also when they combine, the design looks awful. Genuinely, it's ridiculous looking.
It just looks.
The head looks awful.
I can't remember what it looks like. I can't know if it looks like that in the show or not. Did they get? I'm gonna Google. It's been a while since I fucking watched it. I'm not big knowledgeable of the original show. I was more post Mighty Morphin. Yes, I've seen every episode of the original show, but I'm more knowledge of later on.
Yeah.
So obviously, trying to think of stuff like this. I need to actually Google it to know myself. Ninja Zords. Just please don't take me to. Almost dropped my phone. I'm guessing that's it. See, it doesn't look that bad as a toy. As a toy, it looks okay.
Yeah.
But as an actual, like, CGI monstrosity, I think what it doesn't help, the CGI makes the design look a bit worse than it actually kind of is. Like, it's a mediocre looking Zord, but the special effects make it look even worse. So that obviously that doesn't help. What else can I say? The music's pretty good. Obviously, you got the 90s sort of music in there. There's a lot of big 90s tunes.
Kung Fu Fighting.
Best song in it. Obviously, I've got the power.
Yeah.
Which makes sense because Power Rangers.
We're in trouble.
Oh, we're in trouble. Yeah. Higher Ground, I believe it's called. That's the Red Hot Chili Pepper song. And I don't know what that song's called, but the one I kept singing early on because it stuck in my head and it was like I've actually got it in my head now. Great, that's good. When I actually need to say the song, it's stuck. It's got it in my head. Oh, Action Boy now, Action Girl now. That one when they're fighting. I don't actually know what the song is. I just know those lyrics. I kept singing that song for a while, and then I finally got it in my head, and now I just want to sing it again because I was finally got it back into my head. Don't sing it, Tom. Don't sing it. But yeah, as far as like adaptations of kids shows into live action have gone, it isn't as bad as a lot of ones are, because some are pretty. I feel like this is one that was designed heavily for. Well, I would say for the people who love the show, because them introducing the characters again is kind of them like competing here. Like, yes, we're designing it heavily for the people who love the show, but we're also trying to get a new audience here. Because as I say, this is between the second and third series, so it's a case of we can get a new audience and get more people to watch the actual show. And from there, I mean, it's another I think another 2 years after this movie came out before they did the next movie, which is reviewed really bad compared to this one. Like, this is reviewed bad. That's reviewed even worse, even though that one goes a lot more practical than, because it's more like the TV show. I need to, obviously when we rewatch it, I'll jog my memory because it's been a while since I watched that one as well. I generally don't remember the last time I watched these movies, but obviously this is the big deal for me. These franchises, it's like how Ben 10 is for you. Parents, I've heavily grew up on, and as soon as I've got to the age where I can actually pay for shit, I've took the opportunity to buy stuff. I mean, you can see literally over my shoulder the Zeo Gold Ranger weapon. You can see the Beast Morpher Red Ranger right over my shoulder.
Yeah.
I've obviously got the Morph, which I pointed out. I've got Dagger. I've got
Sword.
Saber. Obviously the actual like die-cast metal one. I would show it, but it's literally buried underneath so much shit that I'm just like, I don't have the time to move all that. I mean, I've also got these came direct from America. I had to get these off Amazon.com. I'm gonna get them over it. The coins from this movie, obviously the ninja coins. So, you know, the ape, frog, bear, wolf, and crane. I also have the shows coins. Obviously the Tyrannosaurus, Mastodon, Sabertooth, Triceratops, and Pterodactyl. I got the coins twice because I got those ones and I got the coins that come with the actual Morpher. Heck, I'm wearing the shirt. One of these will do. I don't care which one. Also, I've got the figurines.
That's Power Rangers.
The Magnum Defender. Obviously, I got the figurines, the Lightning Collection figurines that Hasbro do. I've got a couple. I've got 3 of them on this bit here. Also, I've got the Lord Draken one, which is the evil Tommy Oliver. I've got a little Megazord from my favourite TV series of all, Lost Galaxy. Anything else I can point to? I've got the not novelization, the history book that goes through every single series, the movies, explaining all the backgrounds, stuff like that. It's a big book. I think I got halfway through it. Just behind the flag.
I can see it.
I've got the Super Sentai stuff. Because I heavily at one point got into watching Super Sentai. So I was buying all Megazords left, right, and centre.
Yeah.
It's just something that, as a kid, I grew up with heavily. And obviously, watching the DVDs, that got me heavily, fully, into the franchise. And then, as an adult, Super Sentai got me heavily back into it more. Like, don't get me wrong, I didn't drop off the franchise fully, but I wasn't fully following the franchise. Like, I'd watch the episodes, but I wasn't, I need to buy that. But then I watched a couple of episodes of Super Sentai, a couple of series of that, and that got me like, okay, I need to start watching this again. And I did. Netflix made it easier because every series was on there. Then they took them all off there, apart from a couple of series. Like, they purged it all from the archives. Like, no more purge. The only ones that were left was the OG and the newer ones. Like, everything else was gone, which is very upsetting.
No Wild Force?
They took everything off. Like, everything. Even the actors were like, what the hell? Like, you got your last days to watch it because Netflix is getting rid of them all. I even got the Funko Pops. I got the Dino Ultrazord.
Whatever that is.
In the original series. Like, all the Zords mashed into one. The Titanozord, the, obviously, Megazord and the Dragon Zord all in one. And then, you can't see it because Harley's in the way, and Hayden's big head's in the way. But in the glass cabinet, I got, obviously, the movie and the TV show versions.
Yeah.
Yeah, your big head's in the way now. But yeah, so this is like a big deal for me, but there's no nostalgia goggles here from me, like you with Ben 10. Like, I'm not gonna overdo my rating when I give the rating for this. I'm gonna be fair and humorous with my rating. You'll see why. Okay.
Okay.
But yeah, it's like, this is the big thing for me. I'm looking forward to the next movie when they do it, whenever it's going to be. I think Netflix are doing a series or film or something like that. I read somewhere. I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with that, because I know they're going back and doing like some sort of 90s type themed one. That's going to be interesting. It's just upsetting that we're not getting another dark one. I mean, this had some dark tones at moments. I mean, parents trying to kill themselves. Pretty dark. But I love the new movies, like, full darkness within it. Like, it was just perfect tonage for like an adult wanting to watch Power Rangers. Whereas this is perfect tonage for a kid wanting to watch Power Rangers. So, you know. Yeah. I'm trying to think of anything else. Anything else within the movie that we can talk about, really?
Don't know. I can't think of anything.
Cheesy dialogue.
Yes.
But that's 90s for you. And the fact is,
one random skimpy outfitted character.
What, Kimberly?
No, well, at some points, but no,
the warrior.
Yeah, the like Amazonian looking woman.
Yeah, the one with the sticks.
Where she's just literally in a bikini the entire time.
You know why that is? You gotta keep the adults happy when they're in the cinema watching it.
The dads.
Oh man, I gotta go watch Power Rangers with my son. Sitting there, pops on the screen. But I'm sort of liking this movie. This is my kind of movie.
Oh.
Did you enjoy the movie? The kid's like, yeah, it was alright. They're like, oh, it's amazing. It was so good. She was amazing. Who was? No one. Oh, but yeah. Anything else you can think of?
Not
I
really
covered most of
anymore.
it. Practical, digital,
Yeah,
fighting, the cheesy dialogue.
random powers out of nowhere.
I mean the lights.
Yeah,
Oh,
basically.
I mean the movie introduced
Yeah.
abilities that don't exist in the franchise.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, I can't really think of much else. The only thing I can think of is I also have the tabletop game.
A lot of it for the table.
Well, the expansions, yeah, and
Mm.
the card game I did recently, the Renegade Studios games. Where I believe I think the Tengu Warriors are in the actual show, if I remember correctly.
Mm.
I think there's only certain parts of this movie that aren't utilised in the actual show. I think they do just drag stuff from the actual stuff that was obviously from Series 3 into this, and just don't fully utilise the new stuff from this in Series 3 because of just using Super Sentai footage. Okay, then if that's all we can think of, let's go to the ratings then. No nostalgia glasses for me, yeah.
Nor
It's
me,
fun.
because I've never watched it before.
It's cheesy. It's bad special effects. But it definitely brings back some memories. Again, I'm not a big Mighty Morphin original show fan. So I feel like if I was a bit more of a big original series fan, then maybe I'd be going higher with it. But because I'm not, and I'm more of a later series fan, like In Space and Lost Galaxy, those duology, and then Wild Force and obviously Time Force, those sort of areas, rather than the original show. Obviously, I won't go that high with this, but I'm gonna go humorous. I'm gonna give Mighty Morphin Power Rangers the movie a 6.9 out of 10.
Of course. Of course.
Like, I feel like, see, the inner kid of me is pushing it higher, but I'm not going. Obviously, the adult side of me is seeing the bad visuals. Bit like with Ben 10, the first one. It was like it counteracts it. Get rid of that and add a few more things. It goes a bit further. Obviously, I do like the fact that it's actually a proper full length movie. It's not like an hour long. It's a proper full length feature film. So that's the good thing. Yeah, I feel like a 6.9 out of 10 from me is how much this is gonna get. I was debating giving it higher, and I was like, no, think of the CGI, think of the CGI, think of the CGI.
Okay, I probably say just straight up 6. It's alright.
Straight up 6.
Yeah. Alright.
Average calculator time.
Yeah.
Why didn't I say 7? Then it would have been so much easier for me. We have to make lives difficult for each other, don't we?
Yes. Yes, you do.
Why did I bring back the fucking points? Why did I bring back the points? Because I would have just rounded it.
Did you not learn from James?
I would have just rounded it. It's not fair. It's bookmarks. There it is.
But then you couldn't say 69.
That is true. I couldn't say 69 unless I did a bullshit Hayden rating and gave it 69 out of 10.
No bullshit. It's funny.
Average calculator. Calculate 6 and 6.9. Oh, technically due to rounding, it'd be easier anyway.
What?
So it basically, if I gave it a 7 and you gave it a 6, it'd basically be a 6.5 average. But I gave it 6.9, and the average for 6 and 6.9 is 6.45. But you still have to then round the 4 because of the 5. So that gives Mighty Morphin Power Rangers the movie the Chatter Cave overall rating of 6.5. So eventually, either way, it's still got the 6.5. I feel like that's fair. I feel like 6.5 is like a fair.
There was like a point difference between 6.9 and 7. So
Yeah, no, but
it was going to be the same anyway.
It'd either be that or 6.4 or something like that. If it was, it would have just rounded back to 6.4.
What if it's 6.4444444?
Then it would have been 6.4.
You round that one. You round.
I'm going to beat you up on live camera.
Yeah, okay.
Damn it, I forgot she's into that crap. But yeah, I feel like 6.5 is a decent overall score from this channel to give to it. Okay, favorite moment. I'm going to give it, just for the fact it's a practical sequence, the dinosaur bones sequence, where obviously they're being chased by the Triceratop fossil and riding it around and whatnot. It was either that or the following fight scene, but I feel like just for the fact that that was so practically done. Like, I mean, it was clearly obviously puppeteered, but it still looked pretty damn good. Like, it looked a lot better than the end sequence, I'll tell you that much. I think the Welcome to Jurassic Park sequence of this movie is what I guess my favourite moment.
I really don't know. I would say probably the first fight that they have, where they're out of
Action boy now,
Yeah.
action girl now.
I'll go with that because
Want to play kick the bucket?
you get to see them fight instead of just cut into Japanese footage.
And randomly doing backflips for no reason.
Why not?
Hey, let's all get back into position. Backflip time. They love backflips in this movie. I wish we counted the amount of backflips that are in this movie. There's a fucking lot of backflips.
Backflip counter.
I mean, it's not even bullshit, is it? There's so many backflips in this movie. Oh, I could just walk all the way to her right in front. Flip, 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 flip.
All fancy looking.
Okay then. Oh, I fucking jumped a bit, didn't I? Oh well. Jump back a bit. MVP. I fucking jumped a bit, didn't I? Went to MVP then. Oh well. Fuck it. My rules. I can do whatever I like. I feel like Ivanhoe's the eccentric villain. Like, he's got a goofy 90s like kids show villain vibe, and it does translate pretty well into the movie. Obviously, yes, he's got bad digital effects, but I do like
the character.
Yeah, I do like his quirkiness. I mean, like when he walks in, he's like, "Honey, I'm home," and then he's like just destroying everything. Like he's got this good personality. So I feel like Ivanhoe's is like the MVP of the movie. He definitely like salvages some of it even more. Like he definitely pushes.
He salvages himself.
Yeah, basically. I mean, if he was a shit villain and those digital effects, then the villain himself would be awful.
Yeah.
But his personality does salvage him being full of bad digital effects. So yeah, Ivanhoe's MVP. Runner up. I'd say runners up. Bulk and Skull. Just for the fact that when they somehow eventually jump out the plane, but so late that they land in a fucking construction site, and then somehow bullshit their way out of basically being in trouble because they're technically in a restricted area, and somehow they managed to convince a guy that two guys that just parachuted in from above, wearing like mohawk helmets, are like inspectors. And somehow the guy believes them as well. And he's like, he's shitting himself until they're like, "Hey, we found him," and he's like, "Yeah, go on, man, you can go." And it's, how in the fuck did they get away with like figuring it out? Like, how did he not figure them out as two kids?
How you doing, fellow kids?
And then at the end of it as well, and this comes up saying, "Thank you, Power Rangers." Like, Power Rangers, Bulk and Skull, even though all they did was spray water on the parents.
That was a crucial moment. Okay.
I mean, they did save all their lives, so. Then, if they didn't turn the hose on or maneuver the crane, then they definitely would have, died.
I would have let the parents die.
Because you're a meanie. Yeah, I say runners up, Bulk and Skull. They're always the ones in the show that are always the standout. Like, some of the stupid stuff they do is just like, what? Like, I mean, they even lasted so many series. They went all the way to space in the end. And it wasn't until Lost Galaxy that they split them apart. And they put Bulk with like this really old like scientist who's just a nutcase. Because Skull his alarm didn't go off, so he stayed in bed when they left the Earth. And then they came back for that Wild Force episode when they're bartenders for some reason. Oh well, I say it's for some reason. They were bartenders before, but now they've got a sort of tropical looking bar.
Why not?
And then they come back for Samurai. Where Skull's got a kid now. Called Spike.
his own kid or to kidnap it?
Yeah, he's like exactly like him. Like he's got the exact same personality, like the laugh and everything.
Oh.
He's like
okay.
basically like a mini him, and Bulk has to look after him,
Of course.
like because he's Uncle Bulk, even though they're not related whatsoever. But yeah, so Bulk is cool. That covers everything. It's good. Just
Yeah.
in a different order at the end. My bad, but oh well. Oh, here's a question. Because obviously this is an own standalone movie.
Yeah.
What? It's a stupid question for you.
Wild Force.
Yeah. What other series would be interesting to see its own like mini universe movie, like not related to anything else? Its own standalone film.
Wild Force, but they have a new Red Ranger because
Obviously,
reasons.
yes. Obviously, for me, I'm simply Lost Galaxy because that was one of my favorites. That was one of my favorite. I wouldn't say growing up favorite, but as in I started watching them like a marathon from the start to finish. It's one that grew on me heavily, and it's a shame that it's the one that came out a year after I was born. It would have been so like poetic because In Space was the one that came out when I was born. So it's a shame that Lost Galaxy was the year after, but definitely for me, like a Lost Galaxy movie would be so cool.
Whereas I've only watched 2 series and a bit of Dino Thunder.
And now you watch bits and bobs when I watch them as well.
A bit of Dino Thunder, and I've watched probably most of Wild Force.
That
was the only one that I liked. Because, well, I was barely watching it, but you know. Wild Force is the one that I liked. Yes. I used to I had the costume. Like, I had the White Tiger. I had her costume, the white and pink stripes.
Whereas I had the blue Time Force Ranger costume.
Did you? Oh.
There's a picture of me somewhere. I will not put it on the internet. I don't know where it's gone anyway. Of me in the mask. And again, I'll put it on the internet. No one would know it was me. I don't know where the picture is anyway. Unlike that Monsters Inc. picture of me on the internet. Ew.
I don't want to know.
So yeah, okay. That's that for this week. Which series would you like to see adapted into a movie, rather than them just keep redoing Mighty Morphin? Because that gets stale eventually when you're doing the same characters, same show. So it'd be very. So what one would be interesting for you? Any other questions? Put in the comments below. And next week we'll be taking a look at Turbo, a Power Rangers movie, the not sequel to this, but an actual related to the show series because it's technically the pilot for Turbo, because the show is set after the movie. So that one makes a bit more sense than this does, because it's actually got to be exactly like the show. Yeah, so next week we'll be covering that. And we'll see you for that next time. We hope you enjoyed.
Bye.